Angry Guy Productions brings you Fuck Off! Angry Guy's back. What's up? You know you missed me. Oh, I think these little couple-week hiatuses are killing my ass. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of the Angry Guy Show. Before I need one of those little voice clips that goes, fuck you! No, all kidding aside. All right, so... Yep, all right. So, tonight we'll continue on with the tournament that seemingly never will end. Especially if I ain't doing a show except for 2.5 weeks. I'm starting to feel like certain individuals in their damn waffles. And if Mr. Savard happens to watch this, I'll honestly go with pancakes with molasses. If you're not allowed to call them syrup, waffles with syrup, call them pancakes with molasses. Fuck them. So I'm going to call mine from now on when I decide to do them. And it'll only be exclusive here on YouTube. Because I'm a greedy bitch. Alright, so what have we got going? Let's see here. We're starting to see more toys come out. More vintage retro toys. I think by now everybody's gotten a hold of the Kenner Real Ghostbusters figures. And if you haven't had a chance to get a hold of them or see them, that's right. No one owns the rights to waffles. And not only that, but Strato sucks. I covered that in a review last season. Still get hate mail for that. Anyways, if anybody ain't had a chance to check them out or get a hold of them or anything, I advise you do, because I mean they look just like the originals, and probably after Godzillathon's over, we'll take a look at them. As soon as I find that Slimer and that Stay Puft. But anyways, ain't heard much on the movie news front. Surprise, surprise. Did hear that the Revelations cartoon was going to be almost in the same drawn like what was it? Done up like the classics figures, but kind of go along the same concepts of what they had going with Filmation. So that does sound good right there. And I gotta remember to check more of my shit out here. Let's see. Yeah, we had that. Okay. But yeah. Like I said, some things are, it's looking good on the forefront for stuff, which is a good thing. So far, the cartoon looks like it's going to be completely badass. I am looking forward to it getting completed and showing up on Netflix. Just the whole thing of, Alan Oppenheimer voicing Moss Man. Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill being Skeletor. It just completely sounds badass to me. So, don't get on that front. Did hear that, what was it? Ghostbusters got pushed back to next year. That sucks because I was looking forward to this summer and watching Afterlife. Let's see. I seen where I don't know if I think I talked about this or something, but I seen where finally the PowerCon exclusives, even though PowerCon is supposedly not going to be happening, much like San Diego Comic-Con, and unfortunately Lexington Comic-Con will not be happening this year. They do have had the pre-orders out. I'm sorry, I seen the price with shipping. $265 on 5 figures that honestly, a couple of them look good, the rest of them look like shit. Not gonna happen. So yeah, it is what it is. Trust me, I took a look and it said shipping and everything, $265. I was like, some people can kiss my ass. But anyways, roll it along because I don't like we got anything else better to do tonight. All right, so let's look at the tournament. Last time we showed up divisions 3 and 4 for the second round. So winners was of course Ultimate Skeletor third bracket. Ultimate Skeletor continuing on victory over Sweet Bee. The Ultimate Baker getting a victory over Angela. Horde Diddy getting a win over that Filmation Merman, and Zodak Zur getting a victory over the 2000X Rattler. For the fourth bracket, it was Rokon over He-Man. The Futuristic Faker getting a win over the Temple of Darkness Sorceress. Queen Grayskull getting a victory over Trapjaw, and Despera getting a win over the 2000X Ice Armor He-Man. Yeah, but Kevin, I'm more entertaining than most movies you find out there. Just saying. Just saying. I'll say, does a movie get as interactive as I do? No. Anyways, before I clip myself again. All right, so we know who won 3 and 4. I'll think about that one. Hey, Kevin, you gotta admit, even your wife admits, I'm more interactive than a movie. Because I give you so much shit. Just playing, brother. You know it. Let's move on. Let's unveil brackets 5 and 6. And we still got some heavy hitters in this one. Really cool heavy hitters. Plus, I've got to get this out of the way so we can continue with Godzillathon. All right. Damn, phone is acting up again. I'm sitting here trying to. So I just realized I need to prep that because I didn't do it. Which I'll find that in the process here. This is why I stick to normal shit. Alright, so. Oh, now. And the other one. Damn it. Now, search. Yes, I'm trying to make sure I got it ready. So wait. Okay. All right, we're good there. All right, so bracket 5. Let's roll it. Kicking off this one in the 15th seed. From the Horde. I can't believe it. Everything else I set up, I forgot to set up the damn theme music for later. 15th seed, moving here in the second round. We're talking about Octavia. Like I said, nicely done. Tentacles even look really good. However, the tentacles are a little bit of a pain in the ass with the damn hair and shit on standing, but they're not beautifully done figure. Opponent at the 10 seed, 2000X line, we are talking about Whiplash. And this one I got, fortunately, he was missing his damn tail. But that's cool, though. So you got Octavia, Whiplash. I'm still going with Whiplash. That's my honest opinion. I like him a little bit better. I figured you'd go with the Whiplash, too. Yo, you seem to read my mind and agree with me on just about everything. I like that. All right. So, next matchup at the 14 seed, we'll get that Val Kilmer look-alike. We're talking about Icarus. Honestly, I mean, I've got the new Adventures figure, and I really like the way they did the classic style a lot better. In came with the head. I don't know where his shield went, but whatever. But still pretty nicely done there. His opponent at the 5 seed, coming from Super 7. We're talking about that Mini Comics Trapjaw. Like I said before, and I think I said it in my review of Trapjaw during season 1 or 2. I can't remember which one it was. The only problem I really had with this figure is they didn't include like any kind of belt loops for him. That's the way his weapons held on. But anyway, so there it is. Mini Comics Trapjaw Icarus. I really like the way they did the Icarus a little better than I do like the Super 7 Trapjaw. Don't get me wrong, I like the Mini Comics version of Trapjaw. Looks really badass. I just wish they'd done a little bit different stuff with him. So see what my audience has to say. I figured he was gonna say choose Icarus too. All right. So, all right. Next one. The 11 seed. The 2000X Man-at-Arms. Like I've said countless times during this tournament, I really love the detail and the sculpt they really did these 2000X figures. And Man-at-Arms is another one that's no different. I mean, they got him sculpted and designed from head to toe, top, bottom, side to side. You can't go any better, really, with what they did there. But his opponent came out of the Creations Lab, and we're talking about that 2000X style Prince Adam. Uh, can't really say much about this one. I mean, basically, the thing about this Prince album, repainted, redone. But yeah. And once again, yeah, I'll give you that one. You no kidding. That Man at Arms is moving on in my books. Now for the final matchup in this fifth bracket. At the 9 seed, we got one of those Comet Warriors. And we're talking about Rokon, whatever. Another one, they did a really great job on sculpting him. No, I'm sorry, Stondar. I'm sitting there looking at, it's like last time Rokon got the win. So now we get Stondar this time. Yeah. Yeah. Even as a kid, these Comet Warriors were one of my favorites to play with, and even these guys just look really badass looking. His opponent, now this is where I said heavy hitter time. We got the man with the oversized fist. Man, I bet you anything he dreads it whenever he's lonely. Especially if he's a righty. But we get old Fisto as his opponent. At some point, I'm going to get that 2000X head, and the rest of the stuff goes with him for the 2000X figure. Because, man, I just imagine this one all done up 2000X style. But yeah, still, you gotta love it. So, but yeah, so we got Fisto and Stone Dart, and I gotta say, I'm going with Stone Dart on this one. Now, Kevin, I don't know where you're honestly feeling. Now, I know you're gonna go with Fisto. That could be the choice there. When you look at the sculpt and design, Stone Dar's got him beat. And that's what I thought you was gonna go with, because like I said, much as I love the Fisto figure, man, you had some heavy competition. So I may see another heavy hitter going. Oh, like He-Man's out of here. Hang on, I'm gonna look through this book and see He-Man's out of here. King Grayskull's out of here. Buzz-Off's out of here. Stratus is out of here. Now I could go on and on with this. All right, 6 bracket time. All right, kicking off the 6th bracket. The 10 seed from 2000X line. His Classics counterpart didn't survive the first round, but the 2000X version, he did. We're talking about Cobra Khan. Really like everything about this one, too. Really cool looking, so gotta like it. His opponent is the man with no face. We're talking about the faceless one. We got to look at him real good during the 2000X series. And Classics went through and they brought him to life pretty good. So there it is. I do like the faceless one, I have to admit. He's a good one there. They did really well with the design, the sculpt on him. Made him look very 2000X like. That's what I like. All right, so faceless one for you too. All right. All right. Next match from the Creations Lab, probably one of the earliest creations. We're talking about King Claw. King of the Claw people. the dude who's responsible for booting Clawful up out of there and make him go work for old Bonehead. His opponent, another heavy hitter, Panther. Like I said, you gotta appreciate the design, the sculpt they did on the figure altogether. That helmet is badass. You gotta like it. So there you go. You got King Claw. You got Panther. Kevin, you better hope your wife don't hear about that one. But I gotta admit the same thing. As much as I like Panther, I do like that way that King Claw come out looking. Gotta give him that one. All right. Next one. 11 seed. Man, this is almost like a lot of couple of E-Day custom creations. I get we're getting another one. We're talking about that evil Orko. When Orko's had enough of being treated like shit, and he just says, "Fuck it, I'm taking it all." Skeletor kiss my ass also. Well done, excellent figure without a doubt. His opponent, that Eternian actor with the multiple faces, and we're talking about many faces. Honestly, great sculpt job, great design. The bonus head, great as well. So there you go. You got many faces. You got that evil Orko, not to be confused with the unnamed one. But yeah, I figured this is where we would differ there, because where you're going many faces for you, I'm still sticking with that evil Orko because I just love the way it come out looking. Your votes are set, Kevin, so now you can't go back. And, well, I'll say that. And the last matchup in this 6th bracket, first from the Princess of Power. This chick done got drunk and didn't invite me to the party. And we're talking about Tall Star. Pretty plain, but I mean, you got the pieces go through and extend out her arms, her legs, her neck. You know, kind of like they did the Extendar. So pretty cool there. Her opponent at the 1 seed. The Ram Man. Luckily, I got this extra head to go with it. Honestly, I like it no matter how you look at it. Ram Man was well done, and it didn't matter if it was the classics or the Super 7 Ultimates figure that was the orange, red, and all that. They're both badass. Well done from top to bottom. So yeah, Kevin, I'm going to agree with you on this one. Ram Man's also my choice there. So, all right. So from bracket 5, we've got Fisto against Stondar, the 2000X Man-at-Arms, and the custom 2000X Prince Adam, Icarus and the mini comics Trapjaw, and then the 2000X Whiplash and Octavia. Bracket 6, we've got Ram Man and Tall Star, Evil Orko against Many Faces, Panther against King Claw, and 2000X Cobra Khan against the Faceless One. And like always, I can sound like a broken record, I will have the polls up on the Angry Guy Productions page and shared over at Kevin and Arms Custom Creations, or whatever it is now, after the show, sometime later on this evening, so everybody can officially place their votes. My votes will be on there. Kevin, I know yours will be on there. And anybody else that watches, feel free to go in there, place your vote. Voting will end before the next show begins. All right. So, we covered all that. Now, to continue on, with Godzillathon. This got to be like one of the most iconic themes you can ever hear. About time, yeah. You're probably right. So, we talked about a little bit about him last time, where he came from, stuff like that. This time, we're going to delve into the movies a little bit, along with some more of the figures. Did see the other day where there's a new one out, and the NECA's got out. Seen it at my local Target. And it's the Godzilla versus Mothra. We're talking about the original movies version of Godzilla versus Mothra. There, got to get around to picking that sucker up. All right, so let's switch over. Which I know you guys don't get to see it. I do. All right, so in 54, we got the original Godzilla. And wait a minute, I had something here wrote up about all this. With this, I guess we'll kick it off with the Showa era of, the original Godzilla. And, here in the States, we know as Godzilla, King of Monsters. And what can you say? I mean, if you can watch the colorized version, yeah, it's all right. You look at the original Japanese version, so much better. And basically, I mean, the whole theme of it was, all right, you got this monster gets awakened, because of all the nuclear testing, and he gets nuclear irradiated, and he shows up, Japan, Tokyo, and all that, starts destroying the place. They go through and they kill him off by something they called a oxygen destroyer in order to stop him. And you would think right there at that point, okay, there's no chance of a comeback. They would continue on making these movies for a while. Like I said, the original Godzilla, probably one of the best ones out there, without a doubt. And then a year later, you would get Godzilla Raids again. This time he would face off with an irradiated ankylosaur and destroys Osaka, Japan in the process. Now, I know for a fact this monster actually had a damn name, and it really surprised me they did not put it on there. Anguillus, that's it. So, I mean, we get to see, that spiky feller show up. Did you like his color? If you're talking about the Godzilla versus Mothra one, yeah, and that's why I kind of had to take a look at it, a real good look at it, and then once I got home, got to looking through my collection and realized, hey, this is actually one I don't have. So, all right, from there, we move on to 7 years later. In 1962, we would get King Kong versus Godzilla. We looked at the toy version of the Godzilla from this movie last show. Basically, a dude who's uh, going through. He's a pharmaceutical guy. He's went through and for newspapers, TVs, went through and he swiped King Kong from the island. King Kong gets loose, brought to Japan. Him and Godzilla end up battling out. Now, here's where it gets funny. It depends on which version you get. If you get the Americanized version of the movie, King Kong comes out being the winner. If you get the Japanese version, which is really hard to find, but if you do get a hold of it, Godzilla wins that battle. So I'm going to be really interested to see later this year. I think I was talking to Kevin about this earlier. November 20th of this year is supposedly wants to be released. So we'll see how that one goes. All right, so 2 years after that, we get the introduction of Mothra in the movie Mothra vs. Godzilla. That one, this giant egg washed up the shore. Some greedy dude don't want to turn it back over its rightful owner. Soon Godzilla shows up, and Mothra shows up, and we get an all-out war for it. Really cool. Same year, we get the introduction of King Ghidorah in the movie Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster. It shows Ghidorah after a meteorite unleashes the three-headed beast upon Tokyo. Mothra tries to unite with Godzilla and Rodan in order to take on Ghidorah. So I'm guessing also this is actually our first look also at Rodan in the movie. Then next year, we would get Invasion of the Astro Monster. Aliens from Planet X request the use of Godzilla and Rodan to fight off King Ghidorah, but have a better use for the three monsters. All right. Then we get Ibira, Horror of the Deep. This one says a young man steals a boat to find his brother, but he and his shipmates become shipwrecked on a mysterious island inhabited by a giant sea monster and a slumbering Godzilla. Let's see. Trying to remember what this monster actually looked like. In the U.S., this was actually called Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. Ended up playing ping pong with a boulder. Yeah, this thing basically it looked like a giant lobster. Kevin, keep in mind I can't really see. So then after that, let's see, that one was in 66. So in 67, we would get the Son of Godzilla, or we would get Little Zilla. Scientists experimenting and changes in weather. Tropical Island get more than they bargained for when Godzilla shows up to battle humongous insects and protect his newborn child. I'm just wondering, and I know this was somewhat covered in the Ferris Bueller versus a giant irradiated iguana, but does this fall true for Toho? He could just create his own kids? Just saying. A year later, we would get Destroy All Monsters, which is basically female aliens take control of Earth's monsters and begin using them to destroy the human race. 69, we get All Monsters Attack. It says Bully Schoolboy dreams of traveling to Monster Island where he befriends Godzilla's son, who is also having bully troubles. I think I actually missed that one somewhere. 2 years later, in 71, we would get Godzilla versus Hedorah, and this one I think this was actually also called the Smog Monster, and if I remember right, because like from Earth's pollution, a new monster is spawned. Hedorah, Smog Monster. Yeah, it was like Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. Because I think I have that tape somewhere. Destroys Japan, fights Godzilla while spewing his poisonous gas to further damage. Following year in 1972, we would get Godzilla versus Gigan. Man begins to suspect that something is wrong about his employers. Meanwhile, Godzilla and Anguirus are alerted to something strange going on. Anguirus was probably one of the most strangest put together kaiju that I've ever seen. Still not really sure what to think about that one. 1973, we would get Godzilla versus Megalon. And if I remember correctly, before I go into the gist of that one, Come on, where's the damn pictures of this? Yeah, that's right. It's the one that looked like the giant beetle. Okay, I had to try to remember that, man. But anyways, this one is an undersea nation of Seatopia sends the gigantic Megalon to destroy the world above, and it's up to Godzilla and a size-shifting robot, Jet Jaguar, to defeat him. If I remember, I think Jet Jaguar had its own like movie series, stuff like that. So I think Jet Jaguar actually did have his own series. So in 1974, we would get the introduction of that robotic Godzilla in the movie Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. This one, ape-like aliens build a robotic Godzilla to destroy Japan, and the true Godzilla may not be powerful enough to destroy it. Well, he apparently didn't destroy it because years later we get the terror of Mechagodzilla. When Godzilla comes to the rescue, when an alien race builds Mechagodzilla to destroy Earth cities. Boy, this sounds like the same movie just made over. Like maybe there was a problem, even though it had different actors, directors, and all that. Apparently, a traitor scientist gives them a second weapon. We get Titanosaurus. And that would actually be it for the Showa era and for Godzilla movies for 9 years, believe it or not. We would not get another Godzilla movie for 9 years. Now, Japan and Toho used them for multiple things. There was some cartoons and ads and stuff like that, different little things, but they didn't do a few full film until 1984, or here in the States, 1985, when we would get The Return of Godzilla, or as is known here in the States, Godzilla 1985. Honestly, for all of us that grew up in the 80s, while we saw Godzilla films, we know how kind of cheesy looking a lot of them got there in the Showa era. So we get Godzilla returning, and they pretty much went through and they axed everything that happened after the original Godzilla movie. I mean, just wiped it all out. None of that happened. We get back to the, hey, Godzilla ain't been around in 30 years. What the hell? Wait a minute. What about all these other movies here? The other 14 that came after Godzilla King of Monsters. Well, that's where we get the birth of the Heisei era. Like I said, with the return of Godzilla. And, he shows up. He attacks Japan. This one's a new Godzilla. Merges, attacks Godzilla. I really wish, since they put out like all the other little movie monsters and stuff from the Godzilla franchise, they need to give us a Super X ship. They really do. The only way they manage to beat him is they go through and create this device that amplifies the sounds of birds, lures them to an island, gets them to fall down to a volcano. 4 years later, we would get Godzilla versus Biollante. After rising from his volcanic grave, Godzilla is threatened by a mutated rosebush. Yeah, you can't make that one up. 2 years later, in 91, we get Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. A lot of us have probably seen this one. It's the time travelers use Godzilla in their scheme to destroy Japan to prevent the country's future economic reign. Hey, wait a minute. We're just missing a giant thunder lizard. And basically what happens to that one is when they go back in time, they transport Godzilla, who was a dinosaur found on an island during like World War II, who ends up getting shot and taken down by, I guess, the U.S. Navy and the United States Army. But he was still alive, saving the Japanese soldiers. Goes through and they sink him down at the bottom of an island or bottom of the ocean. And they release these 3 little things out to go through. And basically, whenever they're in the nuclear testings and stuff like that, these 3 little creatures end up becoming Ghidorah. So when it goes back to present time, Ghidorah's running around doing what Godzilla's doing. They go through and they use nuclear sub and some nuclear weapons go through and bring Godzilla to life, basically. Pretty good movie if you had a chance to see it. After that, you get Godzilla and Mothra, the battle for Earth. In the midst of another rampage by Godzilla, Mothra emerges to save the human race from Batra. 93, we would get Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. When the United Nations assembles the ultimate weapon to defeat Godzilla, while scientists discover a fresh pterodon egg on a remote Japanese island. After that, in 94, we get Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. Godzilla's threatened by 2 new forces, Magura, another UN-built machine, and Space Godzilla, a beast spawned from Godzilla's particles in space. I'm going to have to rewatch it because I'm honestly trying to figure out how in the hell did Godzilla's particles end up in space? Because I don't really watch that a whole much, only because of the fact that I honestly enjoy watching the next one, which was released in 95, and we're talking about Godzilla versus Destroyer. The aftermath of the Oxygen Destroyer brings forth Destroyer, a beast intent on killing Godzilla, who is on the verge of a nuclear meltdown. This is where we also get to see the Godzilla Jr. I think he was also in Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, just he wasn't quite as big at that point. And I think Space Godzilla used Godzilla Jr. as bait for Godzilla, if I remember right. So yeah, we get those right there. And that actually ended the Heisei era, where we wouldn't get another one from Toho for 4 years, however. And I was dreading having to bring this one up. And we're talking about the 98 version, what Hollywood had the nerves to call Godzilla. I personally called this one Matthew Broderick versus an irradiated iguana, which, if you look it up and everything, that's what Godzilla was irradiated from, an iguana, a fucking iguana. Okay. This movie sucks. It should not even be part of Godzilla lore. They really need to change title. I cannot believe they even agreed to this crap. I really can't. But anyways, like I said, in 99, we would get Godzilla 2000s, or 2000, when Godzilla saves Tokyo from a flying saucer that transformed into the Beast Orga. And I think it's the first time I've seen a name for that thing, because I really didn't know. I've heard so many different names to it. So then actually in 2000, we get Godzilla versus Megaguirus. Japan creates an artificial black hole device to trap Godzilla forever, but a test of the device creates new foes for Godzilla, like car-sized dragonflies, and Meganila and their queen, Megaguirus. 2001, we would actually get Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah giant all-out monsters attack. And the three giant beasts are awakened to protect Japan against Godzilla, in which we would honestly see a really badass looking one, but we'll look at those figures actually like next show. 2002, we would get basically a reboot, and we're talking about Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I just realized we're in the Millennium era of Godzilla. So after the appearance of a new Gojira, a new Godzilla, which we would actually see that happen or see that start to begin during Godzilla, or during the giant monsters all-out attack. The Japanese government builds a robotic Godzilla from the bones of the original monster that attacked Tokyo in '54 to stop the beast. They have some fuck-ups. Kind of still pull it off. A year later, we would get Godzilla Tokyo SOS, which basically also took place a year after the fight between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. The two monsters, along with Mothra, face off in a conclusive battle royale. And then for what was supposed to be, or what is the final film from Toho for right now, we got the Godzilla Final Wars that came out in 2004. Released on the 50th anniversary. Godzilla travels around the world, fights all of his old pals, gets new allies, and a mysterious monster named Monster X, which was nothing more than pretty sure that was Ghidorah anyways. So 10 years later, Legendary Pictures got the rights from Toho to go through and be able to do Godzilla movies and create a Godzilla, a MonsterVerse. This is the birth of it. In the 2014 movie Godzilla, where the world is beset by the appearance of monstrous creatures, but one of them may be the only one who can save humanity. Basically, this was Godzilla versus the insects, because that's what those things look like. 2 years later, and this one I think actually came from Toho. It was that Shin Godzilla. Just seeing it, I wasn't too impressed with it until I actually got to see the movie. The movie was actually really good, a lot better than I thought it was. But it's like Japan just plunged into chaos upon the appearance of a giant monster. You see him go through like 4 different evolutions. Really awesome looking. So on Netflix, they got a hold of it, did an animated style of Godzilla. The first one was called Godzilla Planet of Monsters. It says desperate group of refugees attempt to recolonize Earth 20,000 years after Godzilla took over, but one young man wants revenge above all else. The following year, Netflix also released the 2 sequels to that: Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle, humanity's desperate attempt to reclaim Earth, and Godzilla Continues. The key to defeating the King of Monsters may be Mechagodzilla, which they thought had been lost 20,000 years ago. And then we get Godzilla the Planet Eater. When humanity, their alien allies, Godzilla, enter the endgame and basically release it, or Ghidorah shows up on Earth. Really dark, but really good. Legendary come back with Godzilla King of Monsters in 2019 and start to bring, you get Mothra, you get Rodan, you get Ghidorah, all facing off, prove who is the king. And then, like I said, later this year, we are supposed to get Godzilla versus Kong, because in the midst of the 2014 Godzilla and the follow-up to Godzilla King of Monsters, we would get Kong Skull Island, and it start all putting the MonsterVerse together. And we know a gigantic Kong meets an unstoppable Godzilla. The world watches to see which one of them will be the king of the monsters. So we got some good stuff coming. But all right, so that's it for me tonight. I'm going to get off here and go have a beer. So, like I said, get your votes in for the tournament. And next time, we will look at some of the suits and stuff. Oh, wait a minute. I got to look at these toys, don't I? All right, so let's look at the 85 Godzilla one. This right here, I love this one because it's almost like he's grinning like, y'all fucked. I like this one. NECA did a great job with the depiction of the 85 Godzilla. Godzilla versus Destroyer. Made him look like, what he's supposed to, trying to go through, and where he's having his nuclear meltdown within himself. Awesome set of toys. Advise checking them out. So, all right. So that's it for this week. Next time, we'll look at some more. We'll look at some ways some of those suits were done. And hopefully I've got my office back in order, especially the back wall. Guys, till next time, I'm E Daddy, your angry guy. Catch you next time.